this morning. Let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to have a look at what's happening in the futures market, then head over to the Forex market, and then finally crypto. So pretty interesting morning so far. Off hours trading certainly saw a big move on the E-minis over here, and also on oil as well. But nothing really to be unexpected about it. Came down to some key levels and seems to be interacting on some levels that we've already had and been looking at over the last couple of days. So just reiterating the fact that we can have some simple stuff and take action around very simple processes, and as long as we work the process, we can see results in the long term. And I know it's easier said than done. I struggle with that just like everybody else does. But let's pop over. We'll have a look at the futures market, then head over into Forex and go from there. So let's start over here in futures. What's going on in futures? Well, we hit a new all-time high yesterday, and the S&P over here. And then overnight, during overnight trading, we had some news come out. China changed the way that they are reporting on the coronavirus, and it saw a pretty substantial increase in cases, and I think that news certainly had an impact on the overall market over here, and saw some pretty rapid selling off over the course of off hours trading. Now, of course, we still have another hour before we come into regular trading hours, so we'll see what happens around the US session. But this did pull back to key level 3350 over here, pulled back to a key level, and has repelled off of that. Remains to be seen what direction it's going to take once the U.S. market gets started and fully underway. I think the place to watch, if we kind of scroll back, there's not a whole lot of longer term information because we haven't been at these levels before, right? But we could certainly look through here. We can see where this was a top. It was a top. It was a top. It broke and it became support for us. As it moved back through it, and again it was support here, and then it's been supported here. Now we've broken that support, and this 3365 area could certainly be a resistance point for us. Of course, there's not a lot of data because we haven't been this high before, but this is certainly looking like it could be a resistance point. So as we move into the US session, we may watch what happens around this level here. If we touch it and then repel off, and the US session is spooked by this news as well, then we could potentially see it continuing down. Of course, it did hit this bottom edge during times that we weren't trading, so we weren't able to take action on this. So the big thing right now, the big takeaway from this, is we came to a key level. We're flirting with potentially another level up here. That's a level on a 30-minute. This isn't a level on a 4-hour. But it's a level on a 30-minute here. We're flirting with this level here. The key is not to get antsy and go, oh, dang it, I missed out on that bounce off of 3350. I need to take an action. And then that action leads to either being contrarian and saying, well, it bounced off of this, but it's going to come back down to it, and start selling it because you, quote, know it's going to come back down. Or fear of missing out and start buying it right now without giving any consideration to these other levels. So just be patient. If it pulls back down here before the U.S. session is fully underway, and into regular trading hours, if it pulls back to 3350, let's just watch it and see what happens that first half hour or so, and then if it breaks below it, then we can sell off of it. If it bounces, then we can look to this next level, which would become kind of the top edge, and see if we have selling opportunity there around what's really going on. The trend is up. The trend is up. 4-hour trend is up. That's the direction of the trend. It's really easy to get caught up into shorter term trends and looking at 30 minutes and 5 minutes and things and trying to trade intraday. But if you're more patient and just look at that longer term trend, you're going to be, I think, better off in the long term. I think all of us would be, because we take fewer trades and we're going to be more patient waiting for it to come to levels that are better established for trading off of. So the big takeaway from this is we did see some some push on negative news over the course of the night, but we don't know what that really means to the U.S. market. The U.S. market's just shrugged this stuff off in the past. But just because it has in the past doesn't mean it will in the future, right? We know there's going to be an impact from this, and I don't think the market's fully reacting to it until it actually sees it in numerical values, and we won't see that until reports start coming out. So for right now, just be patient. Watch this next level, 33.65. That is kind of our top level here. It would be a counter trend trade to sell because the trend is up. But looking at this level up here, depending on how price interacts with it prior to and as the new U.S. session gets started and fully under regular trading hours at 9:30, we could potentially be looking at a sell off of this 33.64, 33.65 area. All right. So moving on, crude. Crude is still in a downward trend. It's still on a big downward trend. We said yesterday, look to sell the rallies. We had news yesterday. Oil inventories came out way over expectation. Price did react to that a little bit, which is what we see this pullback of this candle over here. Then over the course of the evening, floated back up, approached 52, didn't quite get there, but approached 52, and then has repelled off and it's come back down to this 51 now. 51 is a support area for us. Remember, we broke above it, and it's come down to support over here at 51. Again, just being patient, wait and see what happens as we get closer into this into the new U.S. session. But if we break below this, then we'd look to sell off of 51 and take it shorter because that's the direction of the trend, right? So again, just looking at opportunity, potential ways to trade it. Trading with the trend would be, selling these pullbacks and trading with that longer term trend in the 4-hour level. Gold trend on the 4-hour is up, trend on 30 minutes up as well. We'll see what happens. 1575 has been a key level for us in the past. We've broke above it, we've closed above it, we've been above it. So if we can pull back on gold, then certainly looking to buy off of 1575 or even as deep as 1572 or even 1570 would be great. To be able to take that action on gold. So looks like some good opportunities here, just some potential ways to trade it for you. Again, I'm not telling you what to trade. I'm not telling you necessarily what even I'm going to trade. I'm just putting out there, giving you some ideas so that you can see ways to trade it with the trend off of key levels. The big takeaway from that is always patience and just staying patient with it. As we go over to the Forex side of things and look at that, we had some news came out prior to the start of the U.S. Forex section at 8 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Prior to that even, there was some news. There was a finance PM that resigned, the new one was appointed, and we saw some reaction around the pound on that. As a result, it's created quite a situation in the markets over here where, again, like we've seen for the last couple of days, we've got ranges for the current day that have far exceeded what that typical range would be as we're coming into this new session. So just like in previous days, the big takeaway here, be patient. I don't see anything that's immediately glaring as a potential trading opportunity. So just be patient. Now, if the pound starts to pull back here and we see heavy movement to the downside on the pound, there could be potentially some opportunity to sell the pound against some other currencies, and that would be simply selling on selling with whatever pullback might be occurring there as the day gets started. So there could be some opportunity to take action in the opposite direction of what's already been done today, but trading with the direction of the trend on really every currency I'm looking at across the board here, we have either moved to or exceeded the typical ranges for those. So Forex has been a little challenging. It hasn't been as active as we would like it to be, and therefore we're not quite seeing as many tradable opportunities. So we just have to be patient. I know that's hard. It's hard as traders. We put this moniker, we're traders, we have to be pushing the button, but patience really is the key there. Let's pop over and have a look at crypto. Crypto, we haven't had to be as patient. Crypto's just been going nuts. Let me put this back on an Ethereum chart over here for you. Crypto has just been going absolutely bonkers. Yesterday we talked about Bitcoin pulling back off of this key level, and it pulled back to just a little over 10,000. Didn't quite get back to 10,000, and has rallied again, and now it's pushing above this next key level up here at 15. What is that? 15,380, 15,4, 50. Gosh, where did I get 15 from? 10. I don't know why I said 15, and I apologize for that. 10,400. We seem to be pushing about that. If we break above this and can keep pushing, our next potential target could be 10,800. So big potential there for Bitcoin continuing to push, continuing to rally. So trading with that trend, we'd be looking to buy pullbacks here. Of course, on any of these, like I've mentioned before, setting key areas and looking at breakouts is another great way to trade. Anytime we see consolidation like this, looking to trade on breakouts from that consolidation point is another great way to go, and you're able to trade it in both directions as you're looking at that. And that's the same with Ethereum or anything else. Anything you can look for consolidations and then set some levels that you would be happy with trading breakouts on. I talk about the bounce quite a bit, looking at key levels, and then, if we're in an upward trend, waiting for it to pull back and buying that bounce. But as I mentioned before, it's hard, because in order to buy the bounce, you have to be buying in the face of a big red candle. Breakouts are another great way to go, because you can set key levels looking for consolidation. You have to be patient again. You have to be patient. Wait for things to consolidate over a few bars, and then set levels that you'd be happy if it broke out of to buy, and if it broke out of the other direction to sell off of. Certainly opportunity to do that as well. Both of these, though, moving is kind of a parabolic move. Just like we've seen with the stock market's had a parabolic move over the last 3 years. This over the last couple of months has just had a parabolic move straight up on both of these. So again, just being patient, waiting for opportunities, whether that's a breakout of key levels or a pullback. I would rather let things pull back and then buy on the pullbacks on both of these. So right now with Ethereum, with Bitcoin, we don't have a lot to do today other than wait and see what key levels might be coming next. Ethereum is approaching levels it hasn't seen since last year. This 300, 280 or 300 is really the next potential stop for it. So it might be an opportunity, if you're in a trade, to take profit around 280 and then see if it pulls back in order to be able to reload around 260 or so. But again, not telling you what to trade, just giving you some ideas out here that we can take action on based on what these currencies have been doing. So a lot of potential opportunity, though. Definitely we seem to be coming into, from a crypto perspective, Bitcoin halving is coming up here in about 3 months, right around there. It could be a little less at this point, but that combined with what we have in the news is certainly creating more interest. We're seeing a lot more interest here, which is similar to what happened in 2017. As it climbed, you had interest coming in, people, fear of missing out propelled it, so on and so forth. You're seeing a lot of that same thing that might be that's potentially occurring here as well. So when's the right time to get in? Well, everybody wants to be in 5 years ago, and that's not going to happen. So waiting for pullbacks, being patient, and looking for opportunity there. Just be prepared. If it doesn't pull back, what's your plan? So keeping that in mind. Over here on Crystal, continuing to perform exactly as my friend has projected it to. So really liking the performance here. Again, this has been tested over months through the summer leading up to the end of the year. I've been live testing it as a beta participant since December, and taking screenshots daily since January 1st, and we're seeing great performance on this. When it does lose, it's capping its losses very, very well, and when it does win, it's allowing those wins to extend pretty well also. So really digging the performance here right now for February so far. We're sitting on about 11% for the gain. So looking great as far as that goes. In other news, the neural network trading system that we're looking at over here is performing well. I think for me the biggest thing with this is the shortest time frame you can go is hourly, which is tough because if you're getting into trades, you have to have a way to manage it overnight if you're into something towards the end of the day. So I feel like this is going to work a lot better on 4-hour or daily time frame. So definitely a slower time frame for trading that I'm used to participating in. Excuse me. But certainly is looking great. It's doing the signals are coming out. They're looking really good. It's taking so much into consideration. It's constantly learning and reallocating the way I say reallocate. Yeah, kind of reallocating its look at the market, then providing you with that unbiased decision based on what it's learned so far about the marketplace. So it's doing a great job. Just my only concern is since it doesn't connect into our trading platform and TradeForce as a bot, we have to manually check the signals. I feel like this is going to do better on a longer time frame. So interesting for me because it's a different way of trading. I don't typically trade long time frames, and that's a whole other ball game, and it's just something that's uncomfortable for me to learn and get started with. But the benefits from it, I think, far outweigh that discomfort that I have for doing something that's different. It's something I haven't really done. I've always thought about it, and I've always liked the thought of longer term trading because I see, I guess, more of a calmness with it, right? I don't have to be as involved. I can just check it once a day and see what's going on. So letting something else kind of take control, it's funny to even say that. It seems to be a little bit of a challenge, but at the same time, I'm doing that by utilizing this crystal bot that's letting something else take control as well. And I have another one called Megalodon that's a crypto trading bot that I participate in as well. So it's not totally out of the realm of what I should be comfortable with, but I guess because it's Forex and I've always traded Forex actively intraday, it's challenging to make that step to something that's longer term. But certainly working through it and testing it, and it's doing exactly what it says it should do. So I'm digging the performance. I like what it's doing, but I feel like I have to move to a longer term in order to really see the benefits from the neural network. At least until we can find a way to connect it to brokerage. And if we can find a way to connect it to brokerage, then having hourly signals or something of that nature would be fine, because at that point it's taking an action even though I'm not here to take the action. So anyway, I don't know if that's interesting to you or not. Just observation, something I wanted to share with you because it's something that I will eventually start rolling out and having opportunity to work with. All right, so that's it for now. We talked about futures, we talked about Forex, we talked about crypto. The takeaways from this: be patient, wait for key levels. Right now, futures market we've got another 45 minutes. Oh man, sorry. I'm just looking out my window and the trash guy snuck up on me early. I don't have my trash out. Anyway, too late now. in the futures market over here, just be patient. We're coming up to key levels. Let's watch what happens around that prior to regular trading hours, and then take action based on your plan. but wait for regular trading hours, because the market could very easily just shrug off what happened overnight on the off hours. All right, so anyway, that's it for me. I went long again. I think 20 minutes is going to kind of be my average on these daily updates. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day. I'll keep you updated as we have these other programs and processes ready to come out. And yeah, that's really it. Oh, I'm having some stuff coded for TradeStation as well. Some folks have written to me and asked about TradeStation indicators and EAs. So all the indicators and EAs that are currently on the members area, you've got everything you need to manage your trades, whether it's a breakout trade or just an intraday trade that you're using and using the trade manager to manage. We've also got the tools out there for you. The one I don't have is the volume tool yet. I should be getting that today or tomorrow back from my programmer. A previous company had used one called Core Volumes, which over the course of late last year I started looking into and found that it's not really what it was presented as. And it's still a great tool, just not really what it was said to have been measuring for whatever reason. I don't know why. But Core Volumes, volumes is a great tool to look at. And I had one coded that looks at volume and measures that against moving averages and allows us to see volume trend changes. And there's a really nice correlation between volume trend changes along with momentum that gives you an opportunity to take action. So that indicator should be done in the next day or so. What it is time segmented volumes, basically, is what it works out to. And I'll do a training on it when it comes out, but the time segmented volumes has been one that was created years back by a pretty well-known indicator creator and trader, and certainly has a lot of merit to it. There's other ways to get to the data as well, but this is one that I feel like I like the smoothness of the way that it operates and works, and that's what I'll be using and putting on the site that you can start utilizing as well. It looks something like this. Let me see if I can pull up the right screen here. It looks like, darn it, why does that do that? I minimize these, maybe. Yeah, so volume detail looks like this. Time segmented volumes looks like this, and it's providing us with the volume against the moving average. The one change I'm having made to it is instead of having red and green candles, if it's above the midpoint, it'll all be green. If it's below the midpoint, it'll all be red. So taking away the confusion there between the red and the green. All these really do is it's what I found, and this is the same if you're using an ALMA or any other moving average against the volume detail that's coming from your broker. When it turns red, it's simply because the bars have had a downward change against that moving average. So anyway, that's all there is to it. So anyway, it's an interesting tool, and it does provide you with a really good way of looking at the market, and does provide you with a lot of additional data. Forex, there's a lot more randomness than there is in other markets. Applying that same thing into the futures market or into crypto becomes really interesting, because I think you get even more concentrated data that provides you with more detail, because there is that speculative side that's more predictable than there is in Forex. So anyway, more on that to come, but just to let you know, that indicator's coming out as well, and it'll be on the members area also. So that's it. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.